The entire office froze when the arrogant millionaire shouted across the room, "You're nothing but a cleaner, you're fired." The silence was so heavy, you could hear a pin drop. Nobody dared to breathe, nobody dared to move. But no one could have ever imagined, just 24 hours later, that same woman would walk back into the office, not with a mop, but as his brand new boss. Life has a strange way of humbling the proud. If you believe in karma and truth, make sure to like, subscribe, and share before we begin this unbelievable story. And also tell me, where are you watching from this video? Richard Hall was a man who wore his wealth like a crown. His $5,000 tailored suits, gold-plated cufflinks, and diamond-encrusted watch were his armor. To him, success wasn't about hard work or vision anymore. It was about control. He loved being feared. Employees whispered when he walked by, their eyes glued to their computer screens, too afraid to look him in the eye. In his world, people weren't humans, they were tools. Tools to build his empire, and disposable when they broke. Among the many people working quietly in Richard's towering glass office building was Maria Johnson, the cleaner. Maria had worked there for almost 10 years. Every morning she arrived before the sun rose, sweeping and scrubbing the offices so they shone before the employees arrived. While Richard walked past marble floors and polished tables, he never once thought about the person who made them shine. To him, Maria was invisible. But to the staff, she was different. Maria always greeted everyone with a smile. She remembered birthdays, brought cookies for the interns, and even comforted workers when they were stressed. She may have been wearing a cleaner's uniform, but in everyone's eyes, she carried herself with quiet dignity. One Thursday morning, the office was buzzing. A big investor meeting was scheduled, and Richard was in one of his moods. His voice had already echoed across the halls twice that morning, berating employees for things as small as a misplaced file or a slightly crooked tie. Maria was mopping near the conference room, humming softly to herself, when she accidentally spilled a little water near the doorway. She quickly bent down to wipe it, but Richard spotted her. His face twisted with irritation. "Unbelievable. You can't even clean properly? Do you know how much money is at stake today? And you're spilling water like some careless child." Maria looked up, startled. "I'm so sorry, sir. I'll clean it right away." But before she could finish, Richard's voice boomed louder. "You're fired. Pack your things and get out of my building. I won't have incompetence under my roof." The office froze. Employees looked down, pretending to type, but their hearts ached for Maria. Some even wanted to speak up, but fear of Richard's wrath kept them silent. Maria stood there, her eyes watering, hands trembling as she clutched her mop. For years, she had cleaned the very floors he walked on, and in seconds, she was discarded like she meant nothing. She quietly whispered, "All right, sir." Then, with her head held low, she walked out. That evening, Maria sat in her small apartment. The place was modest, peeling wallpaper, a couch that sagged, and pictures of her late parents on the wall. She stared at her hands, rough, cracked from years of cleaning chemicals. She whispered, "All my life, people have judged me for this uniform. But tomorrow, he will see who I really am." Because what Richard never knew, and what no one in that office knew, was that Maria wasn't just a cleaner. She had quietly built something far greater. Her parents, though poor, had left her a small piece of land. Over the years, she rented it, saved every penny, and invested wisely. While cleaning by day, she studied finance by night. She partnered with an investment firm that recognized her intelligence and integrity. And now, that very firm had been negotiating a merger with Richard's company. The irony? Richard was about to hand over controlling shares of his empire to Maria's firm. The next morning, Richard strutted into the boardroom. The room buzzed with anticipation. He adjusted his diamond cufflinks, confident the new partnership would make him even richer. The chairman of the investment firm stood and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, today we welcome the new controlling partner of Hall Enterprises." The doors swung open. Gasps filled the room. Maria walked in, but she wasn't wearing her cleaner's uniform. She was dressed in a tailored navy blue suit, her hair neatly tied back, and her posture radiating authority. Richard's jaw dropped. What are you doing here?" Maria walked calmly to the head of the table. "Mr. Hall, meet your new boss. As of today, our firm has acquired controlling shares of your company. I'm here to ensure this business runs with dignity and respect for every worker." The room erupted into whispers. Employees glanced at one another, their eyes wide in disbelief. Yesterday, she was scrubbing floors. Today, she was running the company. Richard's face turned pale. He stammered, This is a mistake. You're just a cleaner." Maria interrupted, her voice steady but firm. "Yesterday, I was your cleaner. Today, I hold your future in my hands. And let me remind you, Mr. Hall, every role in this company matters, even the one you humiliated." The board applauded softly. Some employees even smiled for the first time in months. Maria turned to the staff. No one here will ever be disrespected for their position again. This company will stand for fairness, dignity, and respect. Richard sank into his chair. His arrogance, his pride, shattered in an instant. The mighty millionaire who believed he was untouchable had just been humbled by the very woman he mocked. From that day on, Hall Enterprises changed. Workers were treated like family. The office atmosphere was brighter, warmer, and filled with respect. And Richard? He learned the hardest lesson of his life. Never look down on someone because of their job. The tables can turn faster than you think. Maria often said with a smile, "True power isn't in money or titles. It's in how you treat people when you think no one's watching."